Hey, what's happening, guys? It's your man Bob Rock, and welcome to the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. And it's another scorching day here in Durban, South Africa. But all in all, it's been pretty good today. A little bit busy at work, so it's really nice to uh, settle down and have this chat with you guys. So how are you guys doing? What's been happening? How was your weekend? Any competitions? Any drifting being done? So this weekend I managed to hit the track. Finally, after a few weekends, it wasn't raining, so that meant we could hit our outdoor track, which is very nice. And I've been meaning to hit the track to dial in my chassis a little bit more. Um, so with that being said, however, I'm still not 100% happy with my settings on with my current settings on the GAM. Um, yeah, the rear is a bit loose. The front end is a little bit of understeer, and it's just not gripping uh, enough. I know how to fix it. I just need a little bit of time to just get a few settings going on there. Just try a few different permutations and just see how it goes. I'd like to uh, switch up or rebuild my shocks out in the front, and then maybe switch up the oil, go a little bit softer, and go with a little perhaps try out the Yokomo springs, the new Yokomo springs out in the front, and let's see how that affects the car. Maybe it'll give me exactly what I need. Hey, what's happening, Daniel? Well, Daniel is my Kamua D brother. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. Yeah, so I just got a few things to try out, but so okay. So last week, uh, wasn't I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling last week's episode. Um, yeah, it was okay-ish. It was okay-ish. We spoke a little bit about being motivated and getting demotivated in the hobby, and what do we do, or how do we go about picking ourselves up, uh, and just trying to get back in that zone. And it's something that doesn't just apply to RC drifting. It applies to anything in your life. Like when you feel down, what do you do? So we spoke a little bit about that and the importance of having a strong group of friends and family, a strong support structure that's not only there to support you in your hobbies and your dreams and whatever you're doing, but just being there for you generally, and just just helping you get by your low points, and sharing with you in your high points. And everybody needs a solid a solid group of people who they can rely on in any way. And I'm happy to say that I have that very amount, or those very people who I can rely on when I'm feeling down. And for every different kind of aspect, like if I'm feeling a bit down at work, I have work colleagues who pick me up. If I'm feeling down at just in general in life, then I have my brother and my sister, this and my sister, and many friends, to help pick me up. If I'm feeling down for the drifting, I have my Kamua D family, and obviously I have all you guys to help pick me up. What's up, Alex? How's it, Zunaid? Thank you so much for listening, guys. Appreciate it. The other thing we spoke about last week was a little bit about chassis preparation and maintenance you do and stuff like that. So that's been, and then I shared with you guys my sort of routine. Comparatively with other people, I think mine is very low or not so often really. I just make sure my chassis is clean, moving parts are moving, oil is where it needs to be, nothing's leaking. I just keep it a little bit simple like that. I don't go too deep. We also spoke a little bit about the R trend. So, which R trend did you join? The rear motor conversion R, or the RER hybrid, the D like RER hybrid trend? What's up? What's up, guy? What's up? Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it. So, welcome to the guys that just joined in. This is your boy Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Um, Hey, what's up, Stefan? Thank you again for listening. I really got to give a big shout out to Stefan. He's been an avid listener and follower, and he's given me a lot of support when I needed it, and he's just there all the time, and always in the chat as well. So really appreciate it, Stefan. Thank you. And also another big shout out to Tice for all his help with just guiding me and teaching me a little bit about how you guys judge out there in Europe. It's definitely given me a lot of insight and a whole new depth of uh, perspective when it comes to drifting. So I really appreciate it. We're still on that judging part. Um, so far what I've been doing is actually just going back to our conversations and rereading it so that I can get a better fully understand what Tice was saying when he's speaking about judging. So we're taking it one part at a time. Let's see. Bob the voice rock. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so Daniel says I'm not joining the art trend. I went for the Osakane PDSH instead. Nice, nice. Interesting to see. Honestly, I didn't really want to get into the art trend. So, however, thanks to my sponsor and my good friend Vivian, a shout out RC Mart. I was able to get my hands on the Yeah Racing rear motor conversion kit with the open diff. So I'm quite curious how that's gonna work out. And then well, I also have the RER hybrid. So I've been using that for a little while. Actually no, excuse me. I've been slowly setting that car up for a little while. So hopefully soon. I'm just waiting for a little package to come through, and then that one will be up and running again. So it's gonna be lit, absolutely lit. So yeah, on to today's episode. Um, so I managed to make it to episode 10. Episode 10. Something I didn't, at one stage, I didn't think I'd make it to episode 10, but I could not have done this without you guys, and I could not have made it to episode 10 without you all. So a huge thank you and a huge shout out to all you guys for giving me the support and for listening in and encouraging me to keep going when I wanted to give up. So really appreciate it, and also a very influential guy who's been helping me along. Young Clooney. I'm sure you guys came across it. Came across that guy from Drift Team 420. So thank you, bro. Really appreciate all of the help you've given me, and also he's designed my new sort of cover picture there. So thank you very much, guys. Let's see. Stefan says in Europe there's a lightweight trend. New rule 1300 gram minimal weight. Wow. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. 1300 gram minimal weight. Is there a front rear weight limit? Like in Worlds, there was a 60-40 weight limit. 1300 grams is crazy. I don't think my chassis is anywhere close to that. Um, but yeah, it's very interesting to see this new trend. It was about time till we saw what the new trend was. Let's see, 65-35. Ah, okay, interesting. You know what? I actually don't have any weights to check the weight of my chassis. I actually need to check that out. I get my hands on a weight and I mean a scale and check it out. Okay, so Stefan says the R drives for me like a pendulum, fast entry but slower mid corner speed. I see. I was a little bit concerned about that. For me, I prefer a balanced chassis. I don't mind if there's a like a 60-40 like a 60-40 base. I mean weight bias, but yeah, I prefer a nice balanced chassis. Okay, let's see. So Daniel says is like 1100 including what? 1100 grams including electronics and the lipo. That's crazy, dude. That's absolutely crazy. How the hell did you get it that light? Do you have like holes all over the place in your chassis? Let's see. Stefan says maximum 1200 grams on the rear, ready to drive. Oh, interesting. Here in SA, the only we've added uh, a maximum weight as a weight limitation, but I don't know if we're gonna. Yeah, oh yes, and a front rear weight limitation. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go review that for this year's national championship. Yes, by the way, the SARC Drift Nationals is happening end of August from the 29th to the 31st of August in at the Drift Trap in Pretoria, South Africa. So guys, if you want to attend, those are the dates. If you need any info, please hit me up and I will gladly provide you with all that info. All international drivers are most welcome. The tire restrictions are going to be Yokomo C type. The surface is painted concrete, I think, or was it painted tar? But a smooth tar. But it's a hard surface anyway. It's not indoors, it's also outdoors. So you guys are all most welcome to enter. Let's see. Stefan says 65-35 is cancelled in Germany. 1200 gram max on the rear. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, uh, I have heard that that there is a trend of going lighter with the chassis. Um, and so I've been following a little bit. Who was it? Who was speaking about it? Oh yes, 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 yes. It was James. It was James and Tice who were speaking about it on their podcast. By the way, shout out to you guys. You guys should really listen to their podcast on Tuesdays. The Pace Cast, very informative, very interactive, and a really nice show to watch. So you guys make sure you catch. Yeah, he was saying that in Japan, there's also there's like two extremes. So the guys go like uh, really heavy or extremely light, and then now there's a trend going in between. Zunaid, EDC is polished concrete. The drift trap is different, and it's happening at the drift trap, by the way. So, welcome everybody who's just joined in. Thank you. So yeah, like I was saying, I've finally made it to episode 10, and it's all thanks to you guys. Really appreciate it. Uh, so, in light of that, soon is just I'm gonna be doing a few shirts. Yes, I know it's sort of kind of copying what Pacecast did with producing shirts, but I'm not really producing it to sell and make a quick buck. I mean, if there's a few guys that do want shirts, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll be sure to supply it. Sorry about that, guys. There was a little break in the network there, but I've kept quiet. I saw it and I didn't say anything. Okay, so like I was saying, uh, yeah, because I've made it to episode 10 of the B Rock RC show, I wanted to do a little bit of merchandise. So I'm just gonna produce about maybe 5 or 6 shirts. So if anybody would like a shirt, just let me know. I'll put up a picture of what the shirt is gonna look like, and then if you want, by all means, go for it. Otherwise, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I might be giving out a few shirts on the show in coming episodes, so be sure to keep an eye or keep an ear out for that. And then maybe a few other things like a few stickers and little common things. So just stuff for you guys to just say you have a little bit of memorabilia for the for the show. So one of the things I wanted to discuss today, besides going over all the awesome topics that we've been talking about, is a few weeks ago, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, someone messaged me and asked me, how does one go about creating a club and sort of building and maintaining the club. Yes, Perry, I think I actually owe you something else as well, so I will send that through to you, bro. So thank you very much. I think just inbox me your size and stuff, and then I'll just keep you in touch with what's going on there. Yeah, so about creating a club, building it, maintaining it, etc., etc. So I'm going to give a little bit of history about the club I founded and I'm the president of, which is the East Coast RC Drift Club. So the how it came about was there wasn't any. So Young says, good question. Tears and blood, mostly tears. 100%, bro. Absolutely 100%. I totally agree with that. When I started my club, it was just 3 of us, myself, my good friend Llewellyn, and another friend, just somebody I knew whose name I kind of forgot right now. I forgot his name, but he was a very nice guy. And the 3 of us, we started the club because in my city of Durban there was no RC drift scene or RC drifting community at the time. And this I'm talking maybe about 5 to 6 years back. So we came together, we started a club, and um, I took it upon myself to do my best to push the scene, push the name of the club, get ourselves out there, get more members involved. Believe me, it's a lot of work, especially when you're first starting out a club. It's huge amounts of work, especially if you are in an area or in a place where RC drifting doesn't exist, or or people haven't heard of it, and you've got nothing, and you have to build it up from scratch. You have to absolutely build it from scratch, which is what we did at the East Coast RC Drift Club. Social media was the easiest way for me to get out there and get the name out. So I strongly focused on that, and I picked up a lot of tricks which I did on my own, or which I learned on my own about marketing, and having to approach different companies and different people to sort of help out the club. And I got to give a shout out to all those companies uh, from the past and the present who assist us and have assisted us in the past getting the name out. So guys like Asia Teas. Asia Teas Hobbies has been a long supporter of the East Coast RC Drift Club until the company took a different direction, and unfortunately, we had to part ways. It was done very amicably, but we had to part ways. And then we had, and after that, oh yes, during that time, we also had streetjam.nl, which is run by Michelle and Claudia. I think now it goes under the name Tory Circuit. So yeah, they've been extremely instrumental in their support. They were actually one of the first people to actually sponsor us anything, and that was T-shirts for my whole team. So big up Michelle. He's been a huge inspiration and a huge supporter, and I'm forever in your debt, my bro. Thank you so much. So, welcome to all of the guys, the people that's listening in. Welcome. This is your boy Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live drifter by a drifter. Um, so yeah, it's been rather exciting, and yeah. So when it comes to the club, we got it's a lot of work trying to keep the club going and maintaining it in a scene where the drifters don't exist. So I've had to approach. Okay, sorry about that again. I had a break in the network. So my strategy was hitting social media heavily. So I relied a lot on Facebook and hitting the automotive events, so all the car shows, the show and shine shows. I used to get in touch with the event organizers and ask them, guys, you know what, we just a fledgling club. We're trying to get this this RC drifting scene going here in Durban, and please, you know, we'd like a chance to be at your show, and just give us a little spot. That's all we're asking for, and then we'll put on a show. I think the first people to actually give us that chance was Gas Magazine, headed by a very good friend of mine, Harry and Yash. And if it wasn't for them giving us that chance to actually launch a club, I don't think we would be where we are now. So we pretty much owe everything to them for the club. So thank you so much, Gas Magazine and Harry and Yash. It's an absolute honor to have been partnered with you guys. So that's how we've been maintaining and growing the RC drifting community here in Durban. A lot of our members we've actually met through those shows. So yeah, definitely, if you want to grow your club, you gotta be out there. You gotta put your name out there. You gotta be in the people's faces. You gotta be in what I'd like to call, in inverted commas, the line of vision, meaning that wherever they look, you need to see your name out there, or you need to see RC drifting out there, and this can apply to anything. Actually, it apply to whatever hobby or club that you wanna start. So that's how I went about it, and soon enough, we started getting recognized as those drift guys here in Durban, and ever since then we've been doing the same thing. So, little while after that, we managed to get our own track, managed to build a second track, which is now our only and main track. And just by the way, the Ryujin Drift Circuit is the only dedicated RC drift track in the whole of KZN, in the entire KZN province. In South Africa, we have the only drift track, dedicated drift track. More than that, it's also, I'd say, it's not the best track in SA, but at one stage, it was one of the best tracks, if not the best track in SA. That doesn't, however, at the same time, that doesn't take away the awesome work and the awesome track at the Drift Trap. And now there's another two magnificent tracks, which is EDC out in Edenvale in Joburg. That's a magnificent track, and beautiful surface, and they just did a whole lot of work to it. Then there's the RC Rats, the Drift Rats. They have a nice polished concrete indoor drift track, which is really nice. We have another amazing, dynamic, organic RC drift track down in Cape Town, which is the home of the D Evo guys. Personally, I think that's the most challenging uh, place to drift, and here's the reason why. It's because they constantly change up their track. There's never a set track in there, and that's my reasoning for calling it the most challenging place to drift. Simply because the track, which is awesome. Um, However, EDC has a number of ways where they can change up the tracks and stuff like that. But I must apologize. I went slightly off track. So yeah, like I was saying about the club. So that's how I've built up and maintained my club. So I keep a close tabs on everybody that's in my club. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not like stalking anybody, but I just keep an eye on my guys, and I try and award them opportunities to drift and get their names out there, and I try and hook us up sponsorships as much as I can. So I try and take care of my boys, because at the end of the day, my boys take care of me and the club. So it's important to take care of your people that stick with you in the club. When it comes to the more boring stuff about the club, like administration and things like that, honestly, in our club we run a very, very relaxed, very system. Um, I'm the pres at the moment. There's my friend. We don't really have a vice pres. Uh, it's also quite democratic. I always take the opinions of all my club members, and then we finally make a decision that everybody can be happy with. And then we don't have a constitution. We don't have track fees. We don't even have club fees. In fact, our entire club fee goes to our hosting club, which is the Wanderers Club, where our track is based. And so we actually members of that club in terms of membership fee membership. So yeah, and then we actually offer, and that's the only cost we offer at our club. Only that. So we're trying to get more people involved, and then just keep it going. Constantly talk about drifting. Constantly speak about the club. Don't let your groups die down and go silent and stagnant. Just always keep it up. Even if you don't have anything to talk about, put up a picture of your car, or put up a picture of what you're doing. Even if it's just a little servicing of your car, get the conversation going, and that's how you keep people interested in the club. So I hope that answers your questions there about creating a club, how to maintain and what and all of these things. Um, so with saying that, how old are some of your guys' clubs? Um, like what are yeah, like how old are some of your clubs? So ours is about 5 going on 6. D Evo, geez, I think that thing must be going on maybe about 12, 13, 14 years, maybe more. Um, in Joburg, I'm not sure where the older clubs are or who's the older clubs there. I'm really not sure. Out in Europe, Japan, let us know. How old are your clubs? How long have you been involved in your club? Let us know. Um, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was which tracks would you like to visit? If you had a choice to go on a drift adventure, a drift around the world, just hitting different tracks, which tracks would you like to visit? For me, it has to be Japan first. So I'd love to hit Iroha Circuit, the new Iroha Circuit. It's very sad news to hear that that Shift is closing. It's very sad because Shift is actually one of the more well-known tracks, and you know it's been it, it, it's been on my bucket list to visit Shift. But who knows? Maybe like Iroha Circuit, it'll come back because at one stage Iroha had to close down, but I see they and then they've opened up again. So yeah, Iroha, Shift, um, RCC, RCC. I'd definitely like to visit RCC. Then Yatabe. Oh, you gotta be at Yatabe. That's like that's like one of the main tracks you gotta visit. You can't go to Japan and not go to Yatabe, the Yatabe Arena and drift there. Then it would have to close up for me at the D-like circuit. Jeepers, gotta be at D-like. So that takes care of Japan. I'm not too sure about the tracks in Indonesia, Malaysia, those kinds of areas. I'm really not sure about that. Where there are tracks there. Let's see where else. Maybe I'd love to go to cross games at some stage, and then let's see, Europe. You know, Europe. I wanted to go to Seoul RC back when they were open, but unfortunately it's closed. But I'd love to know which other tracks are there in the UK that one could visit. I know there are a couple of tracks, but I just can't for the life of me. I just can't remember exactly which are the UK tracks. So if you guys could fill me in on the UK tracks, we'd love to make a visit there. Let's see. After that, UK coming down to. Oh yes, I gotta visit Kuwait. Gotta visit my man Asif. Gotta go there and hit the track there. Then coming through to the US, gotta visit Dory Lounge. Oh wait! In Europe, there's or the UK, there's Cookies. Am I right? Cookies Drift Lounge, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, definitely visit there. Then yeah, out in the US, I'd love to go to Dory Lounge, Drift as well. I think those are the two main tracks I'd like to visit. And then obviously while I'm in the US, I'd love to visit my man Frank Fan and hit his track up. I think that'll be very cool. And then South America, I'm sure I got a few Brazilian friends, so I'm not sure which tracks are there. Oh yes, then Spain. How can I forget Spain? With my friends Jess and Juan Martinez, I think that's I think that's his name. That's how you pronounce his name. But Juan, yeah, those guys I'd love to and I have a good few hours. Maybe spend the day drifting with them. That'll be very cool. Yeah, and then I think that's about it really. And then obviously, just going around and around in the different regions here in the US, here in SA. So that'll be the DEVO track, EDC, and the Drift Trap. So I plan on visiting them sometime this year, and it's been coming up more often than not. It's about these newbie guys wanting to convert all-wheel drive chassis into rear-wheel drive, or using or converting a touring car into a drift car, or converting a touring car into a rear-wheel drive car. Guys, this is something we gotta address properly. The way I like to approach it is I like to get a feel for the kind of drifter that's asking the question. So just to get to know, just to know sort of what's his mindset and what does he want to achieve first of all. And secondly, why do you want to do such a thing? Whereas you have technology out there that's affordable that you can go directly and not waste time and money trying to convert a TT01 to rear wheel drive and going through that entire exercise which people in the past have gone through. So, it's so to all the new guys, and hopefully a few new guys will be listening. To all your new guys, it's because you can or you can go through the process of converting a car to rear wheel drive doesn't mean you should. The reason why some of us tell you this when you ask the question, how do I go about converting my HSP Flying Fish to rear wheel drive, which actually is one of the questions I did come across. Someone asked on the group, like, how can I convert my Flying Fish to rear wheel drive? Another one asked, how can I convert my TT01 to rear wheel drive? And although it's been done in the past with the TT01, it's been a long, hard, expensive, and extensive mission to get the TT01 to drift rear wheel drive. And even then, it's not 100%. The whole design of the TT01 doesn't lend itself to go rear wheel drive. And I don't want to, but it's really a waste of time for you trying to convert a chassis like that into rear wheel drive, or a chassis like the Flying Fish into rear wheel drive. Or most recently, there was one question where somebody asked, how can I convert a XI to rear wheel drive? And as you guys know, that's a full on touring car. You're not going to have the turning angle. You the layout is very different. Um, and although you can convert it to, let's just say, a drift car, it's never really going to be. Okay, sorry about that. Another loss in the network. Jeepers, it's going a bit crazy today. But anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, so the Sakura XI is a touring car. How are you going to convert that to a proper rear-wheel drive car? So I suggested to the guy, dude, you know what? This the technology in the drift world has progressed so much that you don't need to go and mission around with an all-wheel drive car or a touring car and do conversions and modify parts and print new parts to make it work. Um, unless you are in the process of developing your own complete rear-wheel drive chassis, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. You have my full support for that R&D situation you want to go through, and that's all good and well, but really, guys, for the newbies, move away from converting an all-wheel drive car into a rear-wheel drive car, unless it's been designed with that concept in mind. There's certain cars, certain drift chassis that have uh, that sort of interchangeability, if that's even a word. Like, for example, the Sakura D4 all-wheel drive can be converted easily into rear-wheel drive just by removing the front and the front parts, really, because that's how they designed it to be. Then there's also things like the DRB, um, the D-like hybrid also comes in all-wheel drive, but but it's meant to be a rear-wheel drive chassis. There's the Evol. I've spoken with Yoshizawa-san from D-like, and he's given me the step-by-step all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive, and the parts are there. So the thought process behind it was already there. So in the end, guys, for all the new guys especially, and for all the old guys listening, maybe you guys can pass on to the message to the new guys. Don't waste your time and money converting your all-wheel drive car into a rear-wheel drive car when the technology exists to such a point that it's affordable for you to go rear-wheel drive. It just depends how do you want to drift socially, do you want to drift competitively, and then go about pursuing that part of RC drifting. So don't waste your time. You're gonna all the time and effort and money that you're gonna invest and use up in trying to get convert your all-wheel drive car into rear-wheel drive. You could use all of those resources and putting it into rear-wheel drive and making yourself into an amazing rear-wheel drive driver. So think about that the next time you wanna go down that road. So then another guy asked me, and more recently, he put up a picture of a flying fish, and he said, "So like, what upgrades can I put this into this thing to make it a better drifter?" And then in the future, he may want to go into rear-wheel drive. So I answered him like, "Guy, you know what? All that money you're going to use buying upgrades into your flying fish, keep it, save it for proper rear-wheel drive a car. In the meantime, however, what you can do is buy a really nice brushless combo, buy good electronics, drift that, get your eye in and stuff, and then progress from there." So hopefully he takes some of the advice from there and applies it, and then happy drifting to him. So that'll be awesome. Um, yeah. So other than that, what are you guys up to? What's your upcoming competitions? Um, Cape Town, Joburg. When's your next event? I hope you guys are getting ready, because at some I am going to be visiting your region and hopefully joining in one of the. I'd like to come down when you guys have a competition to be part of it and enjoy your competitions on your end of the world. I think it's going to be very helpful for myself, for my own personal growth. With that being said, I know last night and this morning I had a bit of a rant uh, with regards to drifting. I had a very, very frustrating day at the track yesterday. Very frustrating day. The car wasn't um, there wasn't any power available at the track, and my battery wasn't fully charged, and I couldn't charge it, and then the car was spinning out. I wasn't getting enough grip, and it was just frustrating. And I had nobody to around me to bounce ideas off, and or sort of their their perspective on what's going right or going wrong with my chassis. Perhaps it was something that I wasn't looking at that maybe they saw, and it's very, very frustrating for me because um, as much as I don't have anything against my guys here in Durban with the rear wheel drive guys. I promise, I don't have anything against them. My only issue is that we don't have consistency with guys coming to the track, so that we can all bounce off each other, bounce off that energy and ideas, and then just help each other progress. So it's very frustrating. But with that being said, I completely understand that here down in SA, life is getting a little bit difficult. So our priorities have to change a little bit. In that, unfortunately, we got to focus more on surviving than our hobbies. So it certainly does cut down on our time. And I totally understand that, people go through a rough time. I myself go through a rough time, and I'm not always able to be at the track. But the difference is when I'm not at the track, I'm having a look at my chassis. I'm reading up. I'm trying to get ideas about how to improve my chassis or how to improve my drifting. I watch videos, and I don't know if my people are doing the same. Um, but yeah, uh, I think yesterday at the track was extremely frustrating for me, um, and especially for me. And this is not to blow my own horn, but I'm on a mission. I'm on a journey to get better in drifting, to improve myself constantly, to progress in drifting, because I feel that yes, whilst I may drift and I'd say I'm not too bad at drifting, but I want to get better. I want to get right in there. I want to be consistent. I want to constantly be uh, be in the door, or just constantly hitting the marks, and that's my aim, and my mission at the moment is to be extreme in a competition, be extremely competitive, in socially, just be extremely fun to drift with, where I can, I can, without having to crash into him, or able to lead a train where people are happy to follow, that kind of thing. But what I've found is that it's extremely difficult to get to that level when you're drifting alone. Like it's so hard. It's so hard. And yes, whilst I have so much of knowledge and resources available to me, in terms of my colleagues, my friends, my peers, my mentors here in SA, and the family here in SA, my SA drifting fam, and in my fam from overseas, the Kamwadi family, and everybody's eager and willing to help at the drop of the hat. If I have to ask any of them for help, they're always very eager to help. But nothing beats having somebody right physically next to you, and helping you out as well. So yesterday was really, really got me flustered and frustrated. Um, and yeah, I know I'll get over it, but to reach the that kind of level and the progress that I want to achieve is just very difficult at the moment drifting alone. So comparatively, guys in Joburg, they are getting together almost every week or during the week, and they are drifting together. It's not just one guy. They are bouncing ideas off each other. They pushing each other to drift better, and their skill levels have jumped tremendously in a very short period of time. It's the same with Cape Town. Guys are there every Wednesday, or guys are there every weekend. Even if they can't make it every weekend, they are there more often than not. And they're drifting with each other. They're asking for help. They're giving help. And they're progressing. And this is my issue. Guys in Durban, we need to pick ourselves up. I know we can do it. don't let our track that we built up go to waste, which is slowly starting to happen again. I know that sometimes it's hard to get to the track, and that's okay. I completely understand. But if you can't go to the track, then you guys go silent, and then we can't have that. We need to pick ourselves up. So I think I've been talking for a huge amount of time here. It looks like I've been talking for a bit too long, perhaps. So once again, thank you all so much for listening in. I really, really appreciate it. You guys can catch me every Mondays between 6:30 and 7 o'clock Central African time or Central Asian time, CAT, cat. So you guys can catch me every Mondays there. I also upload all of my podcasts on YouTube. So if you missed this episode, you can always catch it on YouTube the next day. I always post up the link. Um, so yeah, it really appreciate all the support and for getting me to episode number 10. I couldn't have done it without you guys support and encouragement, and I know at times I can get rather boring, so please forgive me for those boring I put up, but I'm trying, and I can only do better with you guys' input. So, thank you very much for all the criticisms and all the advice and ideas. You guys, awesome. You guys rock. I may be Bob Rock, but you guys rock. And also, just to remind everybody, so I'll be doing a small run of shirts, of t-shirts, if anybody is. Sorry about that, another net break in the network there. So, like I was saying, episode 10, I'll be doing a small run of t-shirts. Look, it's nothing special. It's just a little memorabilia for the show. One of the shirts I'm actually making for myself anyway. So there'll be a few others available if anybody is interested. I'll have a few shirts. If no one wants to buy them, that's fine. That's okay. Because in the next couple of episodes, I'll be giving away a couple of shirts and maybe a couple of stickers for you guys. So it's not really to make money off it, but it's just to what can I say? Just a little memorabilia of the show. So thank you again for listening. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome evening and catch you guys next week. Peace.